Well, greetings everybody. Of course, I'm Stephen Jenkins, and I say that because I've got my sunglasses on here and a hat on, kind of to bring out this one point. There's a sun blaring down on me here, this beautiful yard here in Hawaii, in a special little island of Molokai, Hawaii. And you know, the sun can be a blessing, and it can also be quite an interesting and sad and painful way to die, you know, out in Africa, blistering from the sun. And I want to make a point here. I've got here that I set down a telescope. This is a reflector. It's a mirror, like a dish. Hope you can hear me. It's kind of windy here. And if you concentrate, okay, if you bring the sun closer, you never want to look at the sun under a telescope. Okay, I'll tell you why. You'll go blind instantly. Your eye will be fried. This here is very powerful. You can focus this, of course, on the sun and put this here on a piece of paper, and if you hold the paper out, you can see the sun, you can see the sun spots, you can see the flare of the fire. But if you bring it in close, it will actually light on fire. Now, we're talking some of the most simple scientific factors here at work. We're talking about a simple little magnifying glass can be put on a paper. I've discovered that when I was a kid. I want to share something here real quick. This is in a little book here called The Medical Evangelism and Health Education, Call 2. And I'm going to open up and just read somewhere here what it says. He who is truly converted will be so filled with the love of God that he will long to impart to others the joy that he himself possesses. The Lord Jesus desires his church to hold forth to the world the beauty of his holiness. She, the church, is to demonstrate the power of Christian religion. Heaven is to be reflected in the character of the Christian. The song of gratitude and praise is to be heard by those in darkness. For the good tidings of the gospel, for its promises and assurances, we are to express our gratitude by seeking to do others good. The doing of medical missionary work brings rays of heavenly brightness to wearied, perplexed, suffering souls. It is as a fountain opened for the wayward, thirsty traveler. At every work of mercy, every work of love, angels of God are present. Those who live nearest to heaven will reflect the brightness of the Sun of Righteousness. It was written in 1901. Our duty, the duty and delight of all service, is to uplift Christ before the people. This is the end of all true labor. Basically, the end of the world will have a message before Jesus comes, and it's the message of love to the world. How do we do that? I've been challenged by even family members regarding the issue of helping the poor, that is left for the Salvation Army. Medical missionary work is about helping the sick. Not having a home is a sickness. I've worked with people that out in the streets, they're homeless. I've been there. I've suffered with them to experience it, and it's painfully. After 3 or 4 days not washing your hair, not being able to bathe, you really just want to die, especially if it's in a hot country. It's very unhealthy. And so to help people in medical missionary work, sometimes we have to house them, sometimes we have to bathe them, sometimes we have to give them food, we have to give them clothes when they're naked. I gave a guy a pair of shoes recently there in Manila, and he was barefoot. I saw him walking. I carried these shoes around waiting to find a man that was barefooted, and I gave them to him, and a few minutes later I saw him holding them up, running down the street with the biggest smile, just so excited. Can you imagine just a pair of shoes, how much joy it could bring to someone? So in closing, I want to share something with you here that has been on my burden for the Filipino people. And I'm going to read a little bit about this. I hold in my hand a brochure of a company that I met and I'm now working with. This is Sun Ovens International Incorporated. It's interesting. I'm going to kind of go over this. 126 countries in the world can use this oven very, very nicely. Basically, in a lot of poor countries, there are resources available to them. In China one time, there was a famine, many famines in China, but a particular family survived, lived, and actually flourished, healthy. Everyone around them died. They couldn't figure it out, but they had a little secret. You know, they ate grasses. And later in Japan, Dr. Hagawara discovered, after spending several $1 million, as the story goes, and it's a true story, that his scientists came back with the same answer, that grass is the healthiest food on the planet. Herbivores, horses, cows, we are herbivores. Human beings are designed, everything about us, from our fingers to our feet, our teeth, to our digestional tract, are designed for plants. Grass has the earth for the minerals. It has the sun because it's in open places to get the vitamins. So people have died of an illness when they had the very plant that God provides for them right next to them. And I've seen it over and over again. And I want to bring this out because when we help the poor, we can't just give and give and give things that they don't need, that they already have. We have to educate them and help them understand what it is that they actually need. In these 126 countries, they have the sun. The sun, brothers and sisters. Of course, they have the Son of God available to them if they receive Him. But I'm talking about the sun in the sky that can cook for them. So this global oven right here, this is a simple little one. This is a bigger one. You can put it on a trailer. And basically you can make, a Chinese lady friend of mine by the name of Ruth Davis took a cardboard box, opened the flaps up, put aluminum foil on them, put a piece of plexiglass, and she baked a loaf of bread. So I'll give you the statistics here. Cooks any kind of food with no power needed, only the sun, no fuel needed. These poor countries use propane. Propane, which comes from coal tar, then processed and reprocessed. How amazing and really crazy. Okay? Wood, any of this for cooking, then oil that's imported in for boiling. You don't need oil, you don't need propane, you don't need wood. All you need is a few basic tools. I was at the Whole Earth Festival in UC Davis, and a bunch of scientists were there, and there was one scientist with these thick, dark black glasses, like a welding glasses, and I thought, what is he doing? Who's this mad scientist? You know, his hair was all messy, looked like Einstein. He had a dish, a satellite dish that he had mirrored, and at the focal point of that satellite dish, he had a pot that he put up there, and within seconds, that pot was boiling. You know why? He said it was almost 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit at that focal spot. He said, you can't look at it, you have to be very careful, you can't touch it. If you get your hand, this is an invisible spot of heat that'll melt your hand and kill someone if they're not careful, all by just concentrating the sun. So these are powerful scientific facts that we're working with. Reaches temperatures of 360 to 400 degrees just in this simple little box. You can put a pot of rice in there with water and cook your rice in the sun. You don't need wood and propane. Come on, guys. It's totally safe, not dangerous, no fire. Used daily in 126 countries around the world. Ruggedly built for years of trouble-free use. As portable as a small suitcase or as big as a trailer. So, if anyone has any comments about this, if they have any advice, we can do this in the Philippines. If somebody wants to join me on this and help people learn how to bake their breads, cook their rice, bake their potatoes, cook all their foods. Most foods don't even need to be cooked, but if you want to cook your food, your beans, your potatoes, your things like that, let's use some of the resources. Sure, if it's a rainy, sunny day, we can use some wood, we can use some other things. But why don't we try using the sun most of the time? That's all I'm saying. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining me here.